Fa la 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 and ho ho hum, have some fruitcake filled with rum. Party till your mind is numb, the holidays have surely come. And this is Scoop Nisker walking a thin line between the sacred and profane on a holiday edition of the occasional Scoop. This one dedicated to the holy fool, the Lord of Misrule. And I hope you're shopping like crazy, fogheads, and consuming beyond your means, because if you are not, then you could be accused of disloyalty to the United States of America Corporation, and your name could be turned over to the Consumption Squad, a new division of the Homeland Security Administration. And if you're not consuming enough, you're also being disloyal to the spirit of Christmas, because is it not true, fogheads, that Jesus was a shopper of souls? Meanwhile, we all know what President Bush wants for Christmas. He wants a big old missile defense set and some of those neat military tribunals, and he sure could use a thesaurus. Maybe then he could find some synonyms for good and evil to use in his speeches. Meanwhile, for Christmas, John Ashcroft wants a copy of the Constitution and a bottle of Whiteout. And remember, fogheads, if Ashcroft has his way, then Santa Claus won't be the only one who knows when you are sleeping. And I'm beginning to get a sense of deja vu all over again, fogheads, with an evil enemy threatening us in a growing nuclear arms race and maybe loyalty oaths and the whole country conforming to the Republican Party line. It all feels a little like the 50s in America. So get out those old Elvis records and those ragged copies of beatnik poetry, and let's start the youth rebellion all over again. But it's holiday time in America, and we're called upon to be merry and bright. And if you can't get bright, then at least get merry. And in the middle of all the religious hoopla, remember that the source of all our midwinter rituals and party traditions is the winter solstice and the return of the sun. Every year at this time, the sun grows dim in the northern hemisphere, and then one magic day it starts to shine again longer and stronger. And for ages now, the pagans have celebrated that fact every year, and if they didn't, then the sun might feel unappreciated and disappear forever. So it's a good thing we still have some pagans around. And here comes the sun, little darling. Yes, 11:20 today. Let us sing our praises not only to Jesus, the Son of God, but to the S-U-N, the sun in the sky, our Father who art in orbit, hallowed be thy light. That sun shines on all of us, regardless of our religion or ethnic origin. And on the solstice, we celebrate how gracefully the sun and earth dance with each other through the ballroom of space-time, a majestic waltz that deserves our awes and hallelujahs. And as we celebrate that dance, maybe we should also reflect on the importance of keeping our ozone shield intact, and that it would be wise to stop burning up so much of the stored sunlight of past Earth epochs, because unless we start showing some respect for the sun, we will end up cooking our own goose, and then there won't be anybody left to dream about a white Christmas. Besides, it's the sun that's at the center of all our religious holidays this time of year. Hanukkah, Christmas, the Celtic Druid Festival of the Stars, the Kachina night dances in the Hopi Pueblo. Most of these celebrations involve turning on a lot of lights and then eating and drinking too much, which all happens because it's cold and dark outside and everyone has cabin fever, and the solution is to find a good excuse for winter binging. Our other big midwinter party is the New Year's Eve bash, and that can be traced back to the Greek festival of the wild women, which is still going on in Berkeley and Sebastopol. And back in Greece, after the goddesses were deposed, that party turned into the festival of Dionysus. Later on in Rome, it turned into the Saturnalia, where people elected, ta-ta, the Lord of Misrule. Now, the Lord of Misrule was a holy fool, and he led the common people in making fun of priests and politicians, which apparently was as easy to do in Imperial Rome as it is today. And this year in America, the Lord of Misrule would be in full drag, wearing a Dick Cheney mask and carrying a whip. And this costumed Lord of Misrule would begin to dance around a barrel of oil, waving a burning wand and proclaiming, "Behold the bush that burneth, and yet is not consumed, because this bush is fueled by a new oil reserve in the Middle East, one that lies beneath the land of a friendly new nation that from now on will be known as Chevronistan." And yes, fogheads, the Lord of Misrule dances on and on through history, from Rome to Rome to Rome. Finally, fogheads, let me wish you all happy holidays. And I'm sure if Jesus were around today, he would spend Christmas in the Tenderloin, hanging out with the poor and homeless, the winos and prostitutes, just like he did the first time around. But whatever deity you honor, whatever traditions you follow or invent or mix and match, make this season be merry and bright and meaningful to you. Remember, as Mahatma Gandhi once said, God has no religion. And as John Lennon sang, whatever gets you through the long winter night, it's all right. And this holiday season, foghead, please say a prayer for an end to all the unholy wars. And this is Scoop Nisker Once again, reminding you to stay high, but keep your priorities straight.